Summary of the UEFA Champions League 2023. The UFC Champions League 2023 established itself as one of the most thrilling tournaments in recent European football history, with a mix of surprise, drama, and high-quality football, and keep fans on the edge of their seats from the group stage in the grand finals. History teams and emerging club competitiveness for the most prestigious title in the club football, delivering unforgettable moments and narrative that will resonate for years to come. Group stage surprise and consolidation. The group stage of the Champions League 2023 witnessed the usual mix of expensive dominators and surprising contenders. Teams like Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Manchester City reaffirmed their dominance in European football, showcasing fluid and consistent football. However, there was also room for surprise. Clubs like RB Leipzig and Benfica achieved remarkable performance, surprising more expensive teams and making it clear that the gap between traditional and emerging clubs in closing. One of the most competitive groups was Group F, where AC Milan, Chelsea, Borussia Dortmund, and Shakhtar Donetsk fought until the last minute. Ultimate Chelsea and AC Milan advanced, but not without difficulties, as each match was fiercely contested. Benfica, on the other hand, had a standout performance landing their group against teams like PSG and Juventus, once again proving that tactical planning and teamwork can overcome reliance on individual stars. Knockout stage, the road to glory. The knockout stage began with a round of 16 full high-intensity matchup. Real Madrid, the reigning champions, and the time continued their title defense with a solid victory over Liverpool in a repeat of the 2022 finals. Manchester City, under the guidance of Pep Guardiola, also advanced with authority, making it clear that they were determined to finally win the trophy that had eluded them for so long. One of the most anticipated matchups was between Bayern Munich and Paris Saint-Germain. Both teams, packed with talent, offered a thrilling and dramatic time. Ultimately, Bayern Munich prevailed, eliminating a PSG that, despite having stars like Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi, could not overcome the solidity of the German teams. Napoli, under the management of Luciano Spalletti, was one of the most notable stars of the season. The Italian teams, which had improved in the group stage, continued their streak by eliminating Eintracht Frankfurt and then AC Milan, thus advancing to the semifinal for the first time in their history. This success was driven by the outstanding performance of players like Victor Osimhen and Victor Carabaskelia, who became key figures during in the campaign. Semifinal, the Battle of Giants. The semifinal of the Champions League 2023 were a true spectacle on the side. Manchester City faced Real Madrid in the clash that many considered an early finals. In high-quality encounter, Manchester City finally managed to come out on top, securing their place in the finals and avenging their elimination at the same stage the previous year. City's victory was a demonstration of their power, with Erling Haaland in top form and Kevin De Bruyne once again showing his ability to dominate in decisive moments. On the other side, Inter Milan and Napoli faced off an all-Italian duel. In other semifinal, Old Napoli came in as favorites. Inter with their experience and solid defense managed to overcome the Neapolitan team and securing their place in the final. It was a strategic triumph where the experience of players like Lautaro Martinez and the tactical ability of Simone Inzaghi were decisive. Finals: Manchester City versus Inter Milan. In the final of the UEFA Champions League 2023, held at the Atatürk Olympic Stadium in Istanbul, was a clash between two teams with contrasting playing philosophies. Manchester City, known for their offensive football and possession under the guidance of Pep Guardiola, faced an Inter de Milan team that based their success on organized defense and quick counterattack. From the outset, Manchester City took control of the match, using their usual style of play based on possession and high pressing. However, Inter Milan remained disciplined in defense, frustrating many of City attempts. As the match progressed, it became clear that it would be a game of patience and making the most of the few opportunities that arose. The only goals of the match came in the second half when a quick combination from City ended with a precise finish from Haaland, who had been the tournament top scorer up to that point. Despite Inter attempts to equalize, City held onto their lead and ultimately claimed their first Champions League titles, completing a history treble after also winning the Premier League and the FA Cup. Conclusion: a tournament to remember it, the Champions League 2023 will remember it as a high-flying tournament where emerging teams were crowned, great surprise were lived, and finally a new champion was crowned. Manchester City, with their dominant style of play and squad full of talent, achieved what had been their goal for years, solidifying their place among the greats of European football. The 2023 season also made it clear that European football is constantly evolving, with the new contenders emerging and the balance of power on the continent continually shifting. Question and answer: what was Erling Haaland's role in Manchester City victory in the Champions League? Erling Haaland was a central figure in Manchester City triumphant campaign in the Champions League 2023, arriving at the club with high expectation. The Norwegian striker not only met but exceeded all expectation, becoming the tournament top scorer. His ability to find the net in crucial moments, as well as his versatility to adapt to Pep Guardiola's system, were key factors. In the finals against Inter Milan, Haaland scored the only goal of the match, securing City's first Champions League titles. His physical power, ability to read the game, and determination in the opponent area made him constant threat to defenders, and his contribution was essential for City to achieve the historic treble. 2. Who did Inter Milan manage to reach the final despite not being considered favorite? Inter Milan exceeded the expectation of many by reaching the final of the Champions League 2023, despite facing teams that, on paper, seemed superior. Inter's success was based on the extremely organized defense. Late experienced players like Milan Skriniar and Alessandro Bastoni, as well as on the shared tactical approach of their coach. Simone Inzaghi. Inter made the most of their opportunity in each match, and their ability to withstand pressure in critical moments was even especially in the knockout stage again. Teams like Napoli and Barcelona, the team's ability to execute, kick, and effective counter-attack was also a key weapon, with Lautaro Martinez and Romelu Lukaku leading the attack in formidable fashion. 3. What impact did Paris Saint-Germain's elimination have on the tournament's narrative? Paris Saint-Germain early elimination was one of the most impactful moments of the Champions League 2023, with a squad full of stars like Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, and Neymar. PSG was considered one of the favorites to win the tournament. However, the defeat against it Bayern Munich in the round of 16 once again exposed the structural weakness of the teams, particularly in terms of tactical cohesion and mentally in game matches. This elimination not only left PSG out of the competition but also influenced the overall narrative of the tournament, underscoring the importance of teamwork over individual talent. PSG's inability to advance beyond the round of 16 raised questions about the future of the club project and the possibility of it start seeking new horizons in share of success in Europe. What did it mean for Italian football to have two teams in the semi-final of the Champions League 2023? Having two Italian teams, Inter Milan and Napoli, in the semi-final of the Champions League 2023 was a significant milestone for Italian football. For years, Serie A had been considered a league in decline compared to its counterparts in England, Spain, and Germany. However, the success of these two teams in European competition demonstrated that Italian football was resurging. Napoli with their offensive and existing style of play, and Inter with their defensive solidity and experience offered to sides of modern Italian football. This achievement also highlighted the level of competitiveness and quality a Serie A and served has reminder that Italian teams can still compete at the highest level in Europe. How will Manchester City's victory in the Champions League 2023 affect Pep Guardiola's legacy? Manchester City's victory in the Champions League 2023 solidified Pep Guardiola's legacy as one of the greatest coaches in football history. Although Guardiola had already won the Champions League twice with Barcelona, this title, which City was particularly significant, as it marked the end of the long quest by both the club and Guardiola himself to counter Europe. This triumph, in addition to completing a history treble for Manchester City, reinforced Guardiola's reputation as a tactical innovator and leader capable of building dominant teams. His ability to adapt his style of play, manage a star-studded squad, and maintain a high level of performance throughout the seasons underscore his influence on modern football. The 2023 victory will be remembered as one of the crowning achievements in Guardiola's career and defining moments in Manchester City's history.